All right, yogis, let's get started standing today. Remember that the functional exercise is standing. I've been starting Sundays on the ground. This is that day you want to start upstanding, okay, that Hatha posture called Tadasana in yoga. You stand up nice and tall. You start to feel your body, so you enhance your meditative qualities. Think about like Hatha yoga as implementing meditative practice inside exercise. All right, so that's a key thing to remember. Meditative properties in your body conditioning practice. So I'm standing tall, I feel those feet, lift the chest, lift the crown, and I start to breathe here. So I'm connecting to my body more than normal. I'm connecting to my breath more than normal. And then some other qualities deeper, remembering my intentions, both long-term, setting some short-term intentions based on how you're feeling this morning. Remember intentions like goals, objectives, desires. You clearly knowing what you want in your mind on many levels and aligning your thoughts and actions with that. All right. Going through some opening movements. We'll do each movement for about a minute. I'll just kind of run through them and you're just make it your own, okay? Widening your feet, bending your knees. Let's start to move here. First opening movement. Now, if you're feeling good, look how I kind of move. Shouldn't be difficult, right? But don't take it too lightly. It's a big one. Easier, it looks something like this. You're starting to move and breathe is the idea, okay? Just a reminder, Lil Lay is doing better. On Tuesday, apologize for canceling, but we woke up and she couldn't even walk. She was stumbling, knocking into doors, and her legs wouldn't work, and it was pretty scary. But she's a lot better now, kind of herself, so. Next movement is our squatting. You get about a minute per movement, okay? I'm gonna do the big arm circle one today, one of my favorite if I'm feeling good. You can hear I'm doing a little bit more power breathing. I don't want to do that all class, kind of loud and too strong, but in the beginning, if you need to wake yourself up, doing a little bit of and the goal is to do like a minute straight. I can give you 20 more seconds, all right? Remember, there's infinite ways to do your squatting, so that's a very kind of structured form. Since it's our second movement of class, I'll keep it simple, but don't be shy to be more creative in the body. You feel good, it's more like a dance. If you feel tight, it's kind of less movement, right? Third movement, be easy, arms up, feet together now. Third movement of class, yogis. If you're just coming in, we're sticking to a more traditional Hatha method, kriyas and poses, and then the modern will be this Saturday, a little bit more of like a flow, vinyasa style, okay? You're inhaling up, you're exhaling to the side. Remember, I can go a lot deeper than this, but that's not my objective right now. So warm up this body part, this side. Get into it, yogis. Not quite a minute in this one, right? 30, 45. Get into that side body, however you want to do it is okay, right? We got a few more opening movements, then we'll hold a few postures, all right? Next movement is our lunge. So we've done some squatting, we've done some twists, we've done some lateral, doing pretty good so far. I like to have you practice this step back because we do it a little less on general and yoga, okay? Think about this as the first big front body stretch from my back left foot up through my chest and arms, okay? Then I stand up, a nice posture, inhale. I'm warming up my kind of lunge or my asymmetrical legs. If I want a little bit more, yogis, you could step back and even like drop the knee. This will be a lot bigger stretch. Then you come back up and you step forward. About a minute, you got 35 more seconds. Get into your lunging, however you want to lunge. If you want to lunge around your house, you never do that, nice. If you want to add anything, rotation, longer hold, we're going to do that just so we're clear. But some days you go into yoga classes like Iyengar and you're never really moving in and out of a lunge. And then vinyasa, you're kind of always moving in and out of a lunge. And they're both fantastic semi-traditional styles of yoga. If there's one thing I wish you'd take from these Zooms, it's keep an open mind about how you approach your body. There's a benefit to all of it. And then, all of it can be not so good at certain times for certain people. It's open-mindedness is what I'm trying to instruct toward the body. It's. All right, now hinging is next. That's the big back bend. This is the biggest forward bend so far. So you can see it, right? Feet hips width distance. Inhale, hinge. So I lean my weight into my toes. It's like a cat. Or excuse me, this is our cow. Cat. Cow. You should feel the back of your legs light up. Inhale. Exhale. You can pause in that space. The back of your legs are going to light up. You're practicing bending over. I am squeezing my butt a little bit at the top. I call that posturing. Notice my spine doesn't really round. I'm more bending the knees. It's called hinging. Easy, right? You can get dizzy from stuff like this. It is a lot of tension on your hamstrings and your back. Don't go too deep. Remember, if you have ever weights around the house, what you do is you add a weight sometimes, right? You have a 20-pounder, a jug of water or two. You go like that, and then that's a good way to add some weight-bearing exercise to this stuff. You keep them near your yoga mat, okay? And you can always extend this longer. Next exercise that goes into the hinge, we're gonna add the twist here, guys. I'm gonna widen my feet, step open. Let's get our bigger active twist going. Now we hinge, taking our hands under our shoulders on the floor. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Hands closer together. Right arm up and open, inhale. Exhale, right hand down. Strong legs, right? Weight and toes. Inhale, left arm up. Exhale, left hand down. Continue, please. There's many ways to do this one too. You can repeat sides here instead and thread the needle for a little bit further of a range. You can pulse at the top, but you can bend your knees, yogis. Trying to keep the spine a little bit longer. People tend to round the spine and kind of tense the shoulders. Looks pretty good. Everyone I can see nice down and put those hands on blocks. Active legs though, active core. Don't get too heavy in your hands. There's a very true rotation of the spine, right? Neutral rotation. Sometimes we kind of don't keep the spine long as we're rotating in a lot of our regular twists, okay? So here we go, guys. Next time you forward fold, bend the knees, rise up, turn those feet out. Think of it as our second squat, but it's a little bit more static, all right? So I'm gonna keep the knees over the heels. Sit nice and low. Hands go behind the head, open up the chest a little bit. Just a few breaths. I'm doing a little bounce just to fire those muscles well. And then I settle into stillness. Should be a kind of strong moment, right? You just did, the hinging wasn't too strong, the lunging wasn't too strong, the twisting wasn't too strong. Now it's strong, all right? Because we're getting into some more range, stretch, complex movements now. Everything we're doing today, you know, nothing new. Big inhale, straighten your legs, turn your toes in. Now you get the big stretch, finally touching your toes, but I'm gonna keep the legs wide. Big shoulder option, hands behind you, forward fold. Some days it's a little too much with those shoulders behind you, right? Just because it's more and you want to stretch your shoulder, you know, be easy, guys. Let's keep going. Hands on the floor. Walk your hands to the front of your mat. Step that front foot back. Plank pose. Give you the option. Do some push-ups, hold your plank, maybe hold a more challenging plank. Let's try to go for about a minute in this space, whether you're working on push-ups or plank. 1 minute, please. Remember, this is first big weight bear on the arms. If you're like me, you do push-ups most days, you know, you really notice some days you get on your arms, and for me, right, I don't know if this is your case, but some days you get on your arms and they ache more, they don't feel as strong, and some days they hurt certain areas, and some days they feel really good, boom, right from the start. And that's kind of how you base it, you know, you don't force anything on them. We're trying to learn like self-care. It's not like we're here to always work hard. It's like adapting to the moment. We can adapt, right, to the present condition. Your intention might have to change. I don't really like that idea is like always push through the pain. Like whether you're exhausted or not, still go exercise. You know, I feel that's a tough one, yogis. All right, now there's, you know, if you're chronically exhausted, you're going to have to go do exercise, but down dog is next. We are trying to stay on the arms, yogis. All right, that's the goal really, is to have a long kind of weight bearing position on the arms, but you switch it up here. So you lift your hips up and back, and then the arms go above the head instead of below the body. All right, so this is first frontal inversion. I'm going to try to keep you here for a little bit as well. All right. About a minute, you're breathing, lifting the sit bones up and back. Yeah, you can add things as long as you're kind of head below your heart. You know, a little side stretch here, a little shaking of the head. Get that blood flow to the brain, right? Just like you might elevate your legs to help blood flow move and stuff, you know, liquids and energy move through the body from the feet up against gravity. You kind of flip the torso and the head to help energy and blood go toward that body parts above the heart, right? All right, now go slow here, guys. We're going to shift back to plank. Bend the elbows. Remember, a lot of hatha yogas, you never do chaturangas. You can add those in today if you want. We will do quite a bit on Saturday. So you'll bend your elbows and lower down to your chest, taking your first kind of cobra here, an active back bend to start maybe. Press feet, hips down, engage thighs, lift chest. I usually tend to start with active back bending. Unless I'm feeling good, I'll go cobra 2. Active means you're not bending to stretch. You're bending only far in your cobra as you are strong, so the arms don't push or pull. Okay, and then you kind of make your way back to downward facing dog.
We're going to stay on the arms and then a little bit more arms. And then we're going to go back to our legs. Okay, so we're in down dog. No rush getting there. Let's go big now. We're about 16 minutes in the class. Let's shift forward to plank. Side plank here. I'm going to do left hand down first if you can. Right arm to the sky. Don't forget you can drop to your forearm and your outer knee. We call that half side plank. You can drop your knee under your hip. A little bit more like a half moon, but still a side body trainer. Something to get that side body going. Okay, making you squeezing your butt a little bit. We're not going to hold too long here. Trying to go for about 20, 30 seconds. Okay, looks good, everyone. Make sure you save some energy to exit slow. Some of you are doing some cool variations of your side plank. Don't be shy. Some up, down, some rotational qualities, okay? Second side, please. Come on now, we're in Hatha mode, the yoga of work. But again, some days, work's not as easy. So you can take it slower and skip any pose you need. If you miss one pose, it's not a big deal, guys. You do half of this class, you're really kind of doing enough if you're being consistent. And that's our first one arm, right? So that's that next tier in the arm. So we did arms in front of us, maybe bending, arms above us, and arms out to the side. We also did arms below. That's a cobra. All right, plank pose, down dog. I'm losing a lot of you. If you want one quick chaturanga, that might feel good. Just in case you missed that announcement, Saturday we'll do like kind of more of a vinyasa style, a little more flow, kind of let you flow, maybe turn your music up and move that body a lot, okay? Let's walk our feet to the front of our mat. Bend our knees, hands on our hips. Let's rise up, please.
Warrior three. Now, we already did the Shushumna behind us, right? If you want to do something else, I really love reverse prayer, and I don't think we do it enough. It's a fantastic active opener, right? So fists behind is really the start. Opposite elbows a little bit more maybe, but what we're working towards is getting the hands up the back, turning the palms toward each other. Now you want to press your thumb together. The beginner, look at the elbows are forward. More practice, the elbows are actually back, shoulders are down. Let's get it going here, guys. Let's do left foot down first today. Right foot hovers. Let's get our warrior three. Now, how about today? I'd like you to point your right toe with the top leg. Point it like a dancer foot. We always flex our feet in yoga. Let's point that toe today, all right? Let's get a nice warrior three hold in here. Come on now, do some work. Think strengthening the body. Remember, there's gentle warrior three, right? You're working towards parallel, but some days you might go halfway, a quarter of the way down, let's say. If warrior three is halfway down, it's Ardha Uttanasana. You already did that dynamically, a hinge. Now it's a static one-legger hinge, right? Trying to go for, a full hold would be about a minute. So ideally, right, you have to hold until it's difficult and then work then. Really, guys, you have to train yourself on a good day at least to remember it's the last few reps, remembering in the end. Okay, let's stand up. Maybe keep your warrior, your reverse prayer. Warrior three, second side. Let's get it done, guys. Left foot hovers. Left leg moves with the spine, like a big kind of level. All right. How can you train yourself to remember in the end of every hold, in the end of every set, the last few reps, to remember this is when I grow. It's these few reps. It's this 10, 15 seconds in the end where I'm getting the most out of this. Remember, if your left leg is lifted, you want to try to drop your left hip down. All right, that's key. A little bit longer holds now.
Don't forget, there's fancy versions. There's moving, there's adding additional poses here. I don't mind if you get creative, guys. As long as, I'm trying to get you on one leg. That's like the real main thing.
All right, there's balance, hinge on one leg, 2 leg rotational laterals. Got it? Widen your feet. Remember we went from hinging into rotationals and bent over, right? Now it's hinging into rotationals and hips, laterals. So I got my blocks there. You know it, it's triangle. I'm not gonna have you go in and out, but if you feel like you need that today, that's good. Arms wide. Look at how my hands are about as wide as my feet. I drop my right hip down. I lengthen out. I engage my legs, yogis. Don't forget that. Find that triangle. Watch that watch my bottom shoulder. A lot of people do this. See, look at that. Watch the bottom shoulder. Shoulders away from ears, yogis. Engage the legs. Lengthen the spine. Drive the right bottom hip forward. Turn the chest up and take a little bit more weight out of the hand by engaging the legs in the core more. It is more risky, right? It's a lot. You're in a very lengthened position in the lower back.
Muscles tend to not be as strong in a very lengthened position. Like say you squat all the way down with weight rather than halfway down, right? So just keep that in mind when we're in a very lengthened position. You got to be resilient there because the muscles aren't as strong, which means there's a tension through more connective tissues, joints. So you want to be aware of that. The further you're going to go, the kind of more resilient you have to be in how you're doing it, okay? Let's go here, second side. Let's rise up. We're not doing the Iyengar style today where we do 3 rounds. We're just doing the one. Left toes out, right toes turn toward the left foot, arms wide. Again, the hips are different side to side. We know that because of the x-rays you study. Some people's left hip is down a little bit more. And then some people's left leg is longer than the other too, right? So you gotta you can adjust your footing, path of least resistance to start. All right, let's not, jam on the joints. Get into it. Come on now, do that work. Stretch and strength, study the body, use the breath. Don't forget, you can bend that front knee too. That's usually called revolved side angle. They're the same basically, right? We're working towards that straighter leg eventually, but hey, I do a bent knee a lot of days. And they're really just different, right? I mean, they're similar. But... Okay, looks like some of you are done there. Take your time. So this is a small movement. It's a little bit of a tightener, a strengthener. We haven't done it in a while. We need to strengthen those hamstrings, yogis. Hinging is great for hamstrings, but it's not really enough because hamstrings cross 2 joints. Main functional action though is this of the hamstrings, right? Because they assist the hip extension. Your glutes are the hip extensor, really. Here we go. I want those fingers behind you like this. I just want you to hold them back there and try to roll your shoulders back. My fingers are not intertwining. The fingertips are just touching, okay? So I'm here. Now, we've done this before. Left foot down first, please. I want my right foot to hover, toes point. I don't want my knee forward. I don't want my butt sticking out. I want my tailbone tucked, my knee aligned from the side. And then I want to pulse my heel toward my hands. I'm also rolling my shoulders back. It's a lot of back body action. Yogis, your right knee is going to want to creep forward. Your back's going to want to arch. That's the tension pull. The compensation, you got to pull that belly in place. All right. Point your right toe. Do not flex your right foot. Point your right toe like a dancer. There's a reason for that, because calves connect to hamstrings. You want the chain, right? You don't want to lengthen that muscle. You want to shorten that muscle chain better. All right. I feel like I'm having a delay here. My camera is doing my screen looks very delayed. I mean, everyone can hear me pretty good, right? Okay. Okay, second side, your back of your right thigh should cramp a little bit, right? So you shake your arms out and then you put your fingertips together. So this is what happens. People tend to like go like that, or like that even. Knee back, lower ribs and abdomen in, pulse. My knee's going forward, Bob. That's the hip extension. That's the other part of the compound. Yogis, muscles aren't individual. Muscles never work individual in life. We can't think of it like that. Those Nautilus machines at the gym, they're supplemented, they can be a supplement to your exercise, but they are not the meal. The meal is the compounding, the teaching the body, your back to work with your legs, to work skillfully with the arms. The body's holistic. That's that like reductionist style, like, that life tape, we keep breaking things down into pieces and then like trying to connect the correct one piece, one cell, one system, one organ. It's systemic, yogis. It's holistic. There ain't no correct in one piece. I mean, that can play a role once in a while, but that reductionist style within exercise, it has a little piece. Good for rehab, good for bodybuilding, good for supplementing. Okay, that's a tough exercise. Everyone was looking pretty good. I peeked at you there. The knee looks forward a little bit. You're not going to get nearly as much because hamstrings cross two joints. That's the full one. Okay, nice job. Now you get a nice stretch. We go back on one leg again. This is third round on one leg. Eagle. Arms up. Inhale. Right arm under left, please. If this is too much, doing a nice figure four chair can be a different substitute. Right arm under left. Press through your palms, pull apart the back. Get low here, right knee lifts, cross the thighs, and try to get that wrap, right? Now again, you might just go here. That's enough, it's adduction. You don't need to get more. You still get the release. But if you got it, the knees flop left, pull them back to the right, and start to sit low and lean back and squeeze everything. I once saw like I picture a python snake, surrounding a tree, and it squeezes the whole thing. The bottom is squeezing toward the center. Everything is like hugging in because it's wrapping, right? It's a very active pose, yogis. You don't just sit in this and be lazy. The activity, the push, the pull of the legs and the arms and the ankles, and that becomes like the object of the stretch of the pose. Eagle is very unique. Okay, we only got a few more standing poses, yogis, and then we're making good time here. I want to save a little time for inversions, back bending, and like some seated stretches. Okay, so you're going to switch up sides. You should feel a nice kind of upper back release here too after doing this one, right? Where that was all tightening. Okay. Yeah, left arm under right. And if you're doing your left arm under right, your left leg goes up over your right leg. And then you get into it, yogis, trying to give you about a minute here. Yeah, nice. A good substitute for arms is just this. Remember, that is a big horizontal adduction. People do this too, Ganesha Mudra. That's similar because you're still going to get that, as you press your elbows together, you still get that back spreading, right? That's kind of like eagle for beginners. It's called Ganesha, the elephant trunk. Let's see. Yeah, these guys are still all going. All right. So when you're done there, we got to get towards rotating here. And I'm going to go for the big one. If you want to go revolve triangle or something else, I want that classic Hatha yoga style. Let's get into that lunge with the twist. Okay. So I'm just going to widen my feet or step a foot back. I'm going to right foot in front of me. Okay. Now we have the upright twist, but I'm going to get that one where we hinge and bend. Arms go up. So kind of big twist here, yogis. Left elbow outside of right thigh. And if you're working it, you can kind of get the hand outside or even work on a bind here. Okay? But more beginner is knee down, spine long. Press those feet down, lengthen the core. I'm gazing up to the right to get the neck involved. Right? Same thing. Usually when you twist your lower spine in life, your head follows. Does anyone, no one, I don't really want you to look at the screen right now, but no one's going to twist like this in life. Right? If your spine is twisted, if your upper body starts to twist this way, your head probably doesn't stay forward. Right? If you're twisting this way, your head kind of follows. Like you're turning around, the head actually leads it. You want the head to eventually kind of guide the body. And that's why we say sometimes like, don't look down because the spine rounds. You know, and try to look forward even up because the chest lifts. Your body, your spine tends to like follow your gaze. You know, that's important to remember in these poses. Is it okay to look down? Yeah, you know, especially if your neck's bothering you, don't force it. All right, second side, let's rise up. You get about a minute hold. Remember, that's what I think our set is like what the beginner's working toward. He's kind of the master of holding postures, right? Right foot back, lunge, sturdy pose, arms up. Let's get it going. Twist to the second side. This is like the biggest active twist hold of class. Not going to do revolve triangle today. I like to breathe into the abdomen, into the wherever I'm feeling tightness, but I've looked for evidence. I haven't found any evidence. I've said this before, like trying to, it seems like your organs are like sponges, right? And if you kind of wring them out, you could help some things move through the digestive tract. I have found evidence that inversions might help cleanse your digestive tract, but I really haven't found any that like twisting does. I've tried to do that search. It's got to be out there. But you think about it, like you're like kind of wringing out the core, you know, liver, stomach, intestines, colon, kidneys, spleen. All right, some of you are still going. A lot of you are sipping your coffee. Yeah, I get it. I know. Morning's the time to get hydrated, right? Listen, guys, I want one last leg pose. I'm going to let you decide. So we've done triangle and side plank. Doing pretty good in laterals, right? We've done quite a few rotationals. If you want, I want, super strong legs if you got it. Something like this, like a toe chair, where you're strengthening your feet one last time, going up and down maybe. Maybe you want to do like a half moon. That's a good leg strengthener as well. Okay, you're gonna work both of those legs. This is lifting the outer hip. This is stabilizing the whole body. I want one more standing pose, and I'm giving you options here. We kind of did figure 4. You want to go something a little easier. Just standing like this is a phenomenal strengthener. Basic, but really good for you, right? Tree pose can work here. I want one big leg strengthener. Last one, if you want to go big for your legs, it's squat jumping today. It looks like this. Look at a little pop. Look at a smooth entrance right down into it. I don't pause between them. I catch right down in the squat. Last leg strengthener here. Standing, guys. Come on now. Just remember, I don't land in the jumping. I don't hit the floor hard.
I catch it like a spring reloading. Got it? That's it.
Nice. Everyone's doing their own thing. I like to see it. Last few moments. You know, if you want a big pump in your legs, right? The squat jumping is, man, that'll swell up those legs really quick. All right, yogis. Now, let's not give you another moment here. I want to make it down to the ground eventually here, because traditionally in Hatha yoga now you would do inversions, right? So in a lot of us, it would be arms again, right? So arms and core. You're not bearing weight on your legs in inversions, but they are active. So handstand at the wall is the big one. Iyengar, Jiva Mukti, they all do it. You know, I've been in classes. I've told this story. I've been in Iyengar with like 30 people, and there is a lot of people who I would not consider strong upper bodies. And you walk in, the teacher's like handstand at the wall, everyone, medial grip. I'm just like, what is this person teaching right now? And everyone does it. So we're going into inversions. I want classic Hatha style, like hold a full body inversion. Now legs up the wall is easiest. Block under your butt, legs up the wall second. Legs up the wall, push your feet off the wall, lift your hips forward and up. Shoulder stand off the wall is third. Headstand is in the middle. All right. Handstand is the big one. Forearm stand is a close second. Let's get upside down. If you want more arm bearing, you're feeling good, working on something headstand, forearm stand, handstand. If you need a little breather, because we are going to do our active back bends, we are going to do bridge and wheel after this. So you're still going to assert some energy. We're not quite done yet. We got about 3 more, including inversions, very active things. Okay. And I'm including this in the active. So let's get going, guys. Nice, Brian. Nice, Donna, Leslie, everyone's looking good. I can see everyone's feet in the air. And you know, maybe today's not your day. Who cares? A lot of you do headstand most classes. You don't need to do it every day. I'm going to try to give you another 2 to 3 minutes here. The goal is to try to hold. Get more drainage in the legs than normal, please.
Remember, if you're going to do headstand, it is always good to exit slow, minimize momentum and jumping. And when you exit, taking child pose, taking a forward bend or dog to decompress your neck. Even someone who's rather well, can do this well, needs that decompression. I do it, yogis. Don't mess around with that. You got about another 2 minutes. Work your breathing, slow inhale on the nose, slow meditative exhale. That's 20, 30 seconds.
Remember that a lot of the classes would be like more like an hour, 15, hour and a half. So usually they kind of let you go in inversions, and the teacher just walk around, work with people individually. Friends might be working together in a mat. You go to these big studios and there's 50 people in class, and your friends are there, you're kind of working with other people. It's kind of like a social moment in class, and everyone's just kind of working on their inversions. Whether that's legs up the wall or one arm handstand, it doesn't matter. Usually, like I said, you get like 5-10 minutes, but classes are a little shorter right now, and I still want to make sure I give you one last kind of ab hold or movement, and then one last back chain, right? So let's get going here, guys. That's about a good 3 minutes, 4 minutes almost. So I'm going to have you just kind of neutralize and lay on the back. We didn't do much for abs. What's our big abs say today? Maybe our plank hold, maybe our side plank, but remember that those are obliques really, and a little bit more transverse abdominis potentially. They're not really going to hit your abs, but what will is a spinal flexion and a leg lever more. Low boat. All right. So laying on your back, knees over hips, knees bent, lift your chest, curl like a cat pose, and then legs go forward. Boat pose. Like I said, most everything in this class today. And then you're doing a little boat. If you want to do a little pulse in your chest, think of it like a crunch. If you want to do a little leg swing, legs go forward. Remember, if you're in high boat, there's like no abs, right? Minimal. Low boat is where your lower back is flush to the floor, and even your shoulder blades tap, just to keep yourself honest. You can lift your shoulder blades a little bit, but first they got to tap, right? So you make sure you're down, because it's cat spine on the floor, basically, right? So last few, you can do leg swings, you can do little pulses or crunches. I'm just going to keep you linear because we just did kind of inversions and we came from some big twists. And it's something to hit those abs, right, is what I'm doing. We will do bridges, and then I'm going to save basically like 10 minutes to stretch today. All right. Last few moments in the abs. Remember, that's an intermediate style of practice too, right? I'm kind of saying like abs. On a good day, you might do a more challenging or complex exercise like adding twists. Therapeutic abs, back pain abs is much different than athletic abs, right? Feeling good body is different than kind of tired abs too, right? So, just a reminder, okay? Now that's the anterior core. Let's go posterior core. You think glutes, you think lower back. If you want to do anything upright, that's cool. But, some fundamentals here, the bridge and the wheels, if you're feeling good, it would be last weight bearing on the arms. So some of us were doing shoulder stand, you didn't get legs up the wall, or you didn't get arms. And if you're doing bridges here, you're not getting arms, right? But some of us are doing handstand, headstand, forearm stand, you're getting arm weight bearing. And then you do wheel, you get arms again, right? So if you got it, flip your hands over your shoulder. You can always start with a wheel. I'm going to try to give you, I got 9:47, so 3 minutes. This is like back body training, yogis. Please don't go into forward bending yet. You forward bend all class, and this is kind of a unique part of class today. It's the hyper back bending. It's the hip extension and spinal extensions. So bridge, one-legged bridge is a fantastic glute trainer. Bridge is a therapeutic. It's not really enough, for muscle and bone and joint development. One-legged bridge is getting close to being adequate, right? I don't know though still. It's not a peak exercise by any means. Getting towards a up table, a up plank, reverse plank, or a wheel can definitely be more of an adequate full intensity body, mind, and pose. Okay. So it looks like good. Now remember, a couple of you doing wheel already. You're not going to be able to hold as long. So you go to your edge, lower down slowly, take a short rest. I say 20, 30 seconds in between. All right. One-legged wheel bridge people. Yeah. Doing a little up downs, kind of lifting up and holding, and then slowly lowering down, lifting right back up, hold, slowly lowering down, or even ending like a little pulse is awesome. This is your last active exercises, yogis. Okay, so come on, put it all on the mat here. Only got about a minute and half left, right? So you're halfway. So bridge people, you probably get 2 rounds. Wheel people, you get maybe 3 in. Don't forget your breathing. Nice, Donna. I like that one. Up table, foot taps, opposite hand. Nice. Nice, Brian. Anna, going strong today. And I like to see that. Some of you usually go strong. You're going a little more self-care today. I like to see that, guys. All right, so I do want to move you forward here. Last 30 seconds. We want to think stretching here. And what do we say? We got the spine, the legs, and the arms. Let's just say it like that. And, you kind of get a release. We did quite a bit of release for the arms, right? We did reverse, we did the Shishumna, we did reverse prayer, we did eagle, doing pretty good in the arms, right? So if I were to skip a place, it might be there, but you definitely need a good hip opener. You did triangle and straddle, don't really need hamstrings or inner thighs anymore. They were at 3s. I would think either quadricep, like front thigh, but you kind of did that reciprocal inhibition, hamstring, right? So I'm thinking like outer hip, like a pigeon, right? Figure 4, pigeon, Gomukhasana, lotus, double pigeon, Sukhasana. What do you want to do here for a nice hip opener here, yogis? First side, give you about a minute. Slow down, get back to your meditation, your breathing. Close your eyes now. Okay, when you're ready, please, let's do our second side. We're just kind of in stretch mode. So if my upper body was really sore, tight, I would just stretch that. We're just in stretch part. You don't have to do hips either. We did a ton of hips, really. So, maybe your wrists need a stretch, right? Maybe you want to sit up and do some neck stretching, kind of side to side. Those are just things we give a little less attention to. I've been giving a little more love to those on Sundays, right? And maybe you want to sit on your ankles here if they need it. Another nice option could just be laying on blocks, restorative bridge or restorative fish. Strap stretching. Just circle. I'm actually gonna do strap stretching on Saturday. Well, it depends on who shows up. I'm either gonna do it Saturday or Sunday. All right. I might do strap stretching on Sunday and do kind of some like lizard and splits on Saturday with the big class. All right. So we did hips. So if you're like lower body, right? The ankles could be quads. Now you're thinking maybe like torso release. Side bodies are pretty good, right? We did triangle. It's a huge side body opener. We did standing crescent movements. Pretty good, right? But if you wanted anything like that, frog could be a big inner thigh opener, konasana, seated spinal twist or laying spinal twist is a very traditional end because we didn't really do like the super stretchy twist. You did a big two moving ones, one bent over, one upright. You did that lunge twist. Okay, now, if you're doing your thing here, you want to think about one more, release maybe in the body, even something easier. A big one, if you didn't do shoulder stand, could be like plow, swing the legs up over the body. Soft could be putting a block under the body, under the head, little neck massage. I do that a lot. I do a lot of foam rolling. You don't ever get to do that type of stuff in this class, right? Should probably mix that in here and there, maybe on Sunday or something. So you want to think about one more nice kind of release type pose that's feeling good to you. Maybe you just want to lay and breathe, right? And you want to start to think about that ending, that intention of calming the mind and body. So it's very different. I mean, even though we are trying to be calm in the strong poses, this is a whole nother level of that calming where your intention is to, if you want to say it in a technical sense, it's to go alpha or even theta brain, where you calm your body in a way where your body awareness might melt away and you have more mental, visual, imaginary awareness than like sensory perception. So you don't hear, you don't like feel with your skin, or you might have moments coming back in and feeling the body, but a key part of this is to be very still, right? So it's like they call it like an alpha wave shift. So you go from beta brain, you set the intention. Beta brain, they say, is what, 14 pulses per second in the brain, 14 to 30. 30 is like stress. If it goes above 30, sometimes they're calling it like gamma or, mega. There's like these, new brain states being discovered and brain waves. So normally, like right now, me teaching, I'm probably like, somewhere like, I'm not at 14. I'm not at a super low beta because I talk too fast. My mind's too busy, right? So I'm probably around like a 20, maybe a little higher, maybe a little lower when I talk soft, right? That kind of. You want to shift down into this very calm state where your brain waves slow, the chemical shift happens in the body, and your perception kind of changes. So you're not externally aware anymore. You're not thinking about your cell phone, your coffee, your body as much. You have this potent kind of internal dialogue. Theta is where the deep visions happen. Alpha is like trance relaxation. It's like you almost forget. It's like you're almost half asleep. So you're working on shifting the brain into a different state, yogis. That's the objective, right? Okay. So you want to get comfortable. Close your eyes. And, take a deep breath or two. Try to let your lungs relax, your abdomen relax, your eyes, your jaw, your tongue, everything's releasing and melting into the floor. I'll give you about 5 minutes here, guys.